One of the frequent problems that people have is deploying large equipment that is difficult for people to handle. The medical world is very typical of this. Things like hospital beds, the larger instruments that are on stands, or sometimes even the components of systems that are to be installed are difficult to handle in the hospital environment because the traditional material handling items like forklifts are not available. So quite frequently we see situations where people have to deploy multiple personnel to either set these up, make repairs, or demo them. And especially for demo and trial gear, this is an expensive proposition because you've got to fly multiple people to the location. The hospital may well work with it for a week, a month, 2 months, sometimes even more, and you've got to repeat that process to get it back. So one of the things that we've specialized in is ramp cases, and they are just what they imply, cases that allow you to open a side of the case, drop down a ramp, and safely get the contents off the case, onto the ground, etc. And there are issues now, and we're assuming that the gear that they're dealing with normally has wheels. So unfortunately, shipping that gear with the wheels in contact with the base of the case is going to expose it to a lot of potential shock and vibration damage. So what we normally try to do is come in with a place that we can more or less grab the unit on the base with a solid material that has foam cushioning underneath it, so that as it's being ramped up into the case, there's a point where you're actually sliding the base of the unit on that surface and lifting the casters slightly above it. So now the unit has, the foam has a chance to compress and absorb that energy, of either drops or bumps in the road, during transit. Sometimes the physics of that are difficult to work out, and we literally can integrate motorized, either motorized cables or whatever it takes to give that assist. And winch is what I'm really trying to say. So we can integrate a motorized winch to help to load it back on. Normally, it's easy enough to pull off. And again, in this world, you're trying to deal with things now that very often have to be kept upright. There are products on the market we can steer you toward that hold a carrier accountable for keeping it upright. And it's evident if it has been tilted. And as well, those are prophylactic. If a carrier knows that that's there, it's being monitored, they're much less likely to yield to the temptation to lay it on its side to increase the amount of freight they can stow in a given container. Unfortunately, even some of those things are vulnerable. We've had instances of carriers reporting that or of customers reporting that they've seen evidence of those indicators actually being removed after they've been tripped and replaced at the other end of the shipment. So there are also electronic devices that can go on board with the shipment that either indicate tilting or go further and allow you to build a database of the combination of shocks and things that your product actually goes through during transit, and even monitor the difference between what the container saw and what the cushioning took out and what the final stress was on your device. Because obviously we're all working from educated guesses as to what kind of stresses that your equipment can withstand.